Alright guys, I'm back with another video, and this is the IWA Deep South Carnage Cup 8 2012 review. I am a fan of deathmatch tournaments, and I know a lot of people like the Carnage Cup just because of how bad it is or how just crazy it is. And I have to say that I didn't really mind this show that much. I mean, for a deathmatch tournament, I thought it was decent. There was some bad stuff, there was some goofy stuff, but I thought for the most part it was a decent deathmatch tournament. I mean, it wasn't like the worst thing ever. I expected it to be a lot worse going in, but I mean, when you watch these, you're not going to get massive crowds of people or anything, and I know some people don't even like deathmatches at all. It's not for everybody, I understand that, but I am a fan of deathmatch tournaments. And just, I guess, to prepare myself for Tournament of Death, I wanted to go ahead and watch the Carnage Cup and put a review out there for it. And so I watched it, and I thought it was alright. The announcers, I have to say, they have these two guys, I think Kyle Smooth and Christian Haim or something, and they just start making fun of everything. And it really helped make the show, in my opinion, until there's like a bunch of stuff that it starts raining, just tons of stuff like that, and then the rain stops, and then it's like wrestlers on commentary. I don't know what happened to these guys. I wish they did the entire show. It took place over 2 days, so day one went, I guess, until it started raining, then they just said screw it, and the rest of the matches take place on day 2. But round 1 is a Spider Net Circus death match with Spider Boudreaux versus Bryant Woods. Bryant Woods comes out, he's got these chains, I guess he's like stretched out his earlobes and he's got these chains hanging through it. So he comes out. All of this is in like an empty field, by the way. They're walking on like dirt gravel, so there's no mats or anything like that. But he comes out. They start fighting with the light tubes. They break them right in front of these people, directly in front of them. Like, I mean, glass would be all up on you if you were at this damn thing. So they start fighting. There's a U-Haul truck right next to the ring. They use all types of different gimmicks. Skewer bat, prosthetic arm wrapped in barbed wire. And Bryant lightly hits Spider with these 3 chair shots. And then Spider just kills this poor guy with a chair shot. Bryant uses pliers on Spider to do something. I couldn't really tell what the hell this was supposed to be, but it looks sick. And then they climb on the U-Haul. Spider grabs him. They both go off the top through the barbed wire and the tubes, and Spider gets the win, advancing in the tournament. I didn't think Bryant was too bad here. I thought he was okay in this match. And the announcers were talking about how they're tag team partners or something. I don't really know all the stuff like that. I mean, to be honest with you, I did watch like the first couple Carnage Cups for Deep South. The IWA King of the Death matches, of course. The Tournament of Deaths. I think they had Masters of Payne with East Coast. I watched some of those. And that's my problem with death matches, is it's just gotten to the point where I don't know who the hell these guys are anymore. There's only a couple guys, maybe 3 or 4 tops in this tournament that I actually know who the hell they are. Didn't know who either of these guys are, and it just feels like it's kind of gotten to that point where a lot of the name guys are gone. Necro, no Danny Havoc in this. I don't like Devin Moore, but he wasn't in this, and at least I know who he is. Wax even. But yeah, just only a few guys I actually knew, but you know, I just went in with an open mind, and I did enjoy most of it, even though I didn't really know who some of these guys were. So the next match is a no-rope barbed wire carpet strip House of Payne. Carpet strips are just the tiny pieces of wood with like little spikes on them. Cody Krueger versus Bill the Butcher. Cody Krueger, I don't know what his gimmick is, if he's supposed to be Samoan or what, but he looks like a Viking shaman. He's got a bright blonde beard and a long blonde ponytail, and just this get up. It's kind of Umaga ish. I don't really know what the hell he's supposed to be, but Butcher looks like Bruiser Brody. They're both barefoot, so they're kind of doing the wild man gimmicks. I'm not really sure what to make of it, but I did like this match. At one point, Krueger throws Butcher into the barbed wire, and he's got this long Bruiser Brody type crazy hair, and it's just hanging on the barbs. Like, he goes through it, lands in the field, and the hair is still stuck up there. It was, nasty. So Krueger makes Butcher tap by holding his legs open or something. I'm not sure what this was supposed to be. It's like a one-man wishbone where he just holds his legs open, and he tapped out. I don't know, but that's what happened. Then we get the Deep Sea Death Match with John Rare versus Madman Pondo. I was excited for this because I thought, finally someone I know, Madman Pondo. Let me explain a Deep Sea Death Match. They have some barbed wire ropes, and then some ropes, I guess they're still barbed wire, with like fish hooks dangling off of them. Some boards with fish hooks stuck in them. It sounds really sick in theory, but in the entire match, nothing ever happened to where the guys like got fish hooks stuck in him. So it wasn't like that extreme. I mean, things could have gone bad, but nothing really happened in this match. John Rare comes out. He's wearing a hockey mask. Pondo's got some girl with him. I think it was Crazy Mary Dobson. I don't even know if that's the exact name, but it was something like that. Rare is pretty horrible. He was okay later in another match, but here, it just, I don't know what was up with this guy, and it's not all his fault. Pondo was incredibly lazy this entire tournament. He wrestles another match that's non-tournament later, and Pondo's just, he doesn't give a fuck anymore. I've watched Madman Pondo do this for years now. Since the first few IWA death matches, all the way up the East Coast stuff. I know he wrestles in Japan. He was in some of the first CZW matches. I think he was in Tournament of Death 3 or 4. He comes back every once in a while, but man, now I think he just hangs out with ICP and doesn't really do much. He kind of just walks out there, and the bumps are sloppy as shit. He was so lazy in this match. I couldn't even fucking believe it, to be honest with you. But John Rare, that guy, he's got Pondo set up on the barbed wire, and he goes for a neck breaker, and he just kind of falls. Probably not his fault. It looked like Pondo didn't really want to take the bump. But then he grabs a piece of a board, and he goes to do like the Sabu move where you leg drop the board, and the board just flies in the air next to him, and he just hits a regular leg drop. Then he swings a chair, and it's just a weak-ass chair shot. Just a bunch of fails. Pondo hits an attitude adjustment onto a fishhook board, whips him into the fishhooks, suplexes Rare into him. Then Pondo gets a big-ass ladder, and I mean a huge, well, maybe this wasn't the, yeah, I think this was the big-ass ladder. And they both just start climbing the ladder for no reason at all. And then this guy, Phil Machio, comes out, hits Pondo from behind with a light tube. Pondo falls off the ladder through the fishhook board. Then Rare hits Pondo with an umbrella and gets the win. Now, this bump, they're climbing up this big-ass ladder. They don't even get like halfway, I don't think. Pondo's on one side, John Rare's on the other side. Phil Machio comes out, hits Pondo from behind. Pondo jumps off of the ladder and then just looks back and then just fucking takes the bump. I mean, it looked horrible. And I think they actually, because Smart Mark Video actually does replays after matches and shows highlights, and I think they actually showed this again, and I have no idea why. It looked horrible. So yeah, afterwards, this is when the announcing just started to get awesome. They're talking about John Rare, and one of the guys says, I wonder if John Rare was paying off Phil Machio, or Paul Machio, I don't know what his name was. And the announcer says, I'm just going to go ahead and speculate that John Rare doesn't have a lot of money. And I thought that was an awesome line. So afterwards, Pondo cuts a promo on Machio, his eyes all bandaged up. He challenges him for a match tomorrow. Machio comes out, he's got a karate headband on. He smiles when he's supposed to be serious. They talk about Cobra Kai. It was whatever. Then we get Shane Smalls versus Jarek Tyler in a non-tournament match. No deathmatch stuff, just a straight-up match. This is where it started raining. The announcers make fun of the ref for having these combat boots on. Jarek goes for a flip move and lands on his feet and then just kind of falls on the other guy. I think, or wait, that was Shane Smalls. Whatever, he hits like a flip move and then falls on top of the other guy, pins him, gets the win. The match itself was not bad. The finish was a little botched though. But yeah, the match itself was pretty good. Smash, Bam, Pow, and Crash match. Freak Show versus Travis Locke. The ring has a substantial amount of water, like a puddle in the middle of it built up now. You see there are little kids here watching all this crazy stuff and people cursing and everything. But Travis hits Freak Show with a thorn bat. And this would hurt like hell. I don't think Freak Show knew what it was, because once he got hit, he looked surprised. Like, holy shit, what was that thing? But yeah, he gets hit with the thorn bat. He swings a jug on a stick, kind of like the water jugs, but it wasn't a water jug. It was some type of smaller jug. I'm not sure what it was. And the announcers say that it's filled with meth. Then there's another part where Freak Show's like, yes! And the announcer said that Freak Show is calling for a lightning bolt to hit Travis Locke. Just so many great lines here. Freak Show throws him back into the ring, and then one of the other commentators say that now they're back in the puddle of water mixed with blood and AIDS. Freak Show tosses Travis off the top rope through some coolers that had different objects inside of them, like glass, pine cones. Pine cones is a recurring theme of this death match. They use pine cones for a lot of stuff. I'm not really sure why, but they did. Then Freak Show's like, come on! And he drops a big elbow and gets the win. So yeah, Freak Show advances. Then we get a loose light tubes match with Damian Payne versus Josh Crow. This match was really good. Crow kicks out of a Canadian destroyer on the gravel. They hit a Spanish fly off the top. Damian Payne wins with the Canadian destroyer off the top rope. But the entire match was, I thought it had pretty good pacing and was really good at the end of it. And it actually like got me into the match. So this one was definitely one of my favorites of the entire tournament. Barbed Wire Massacre with Matt Tremont versus Sid Fabulous. Sid Fabulous does the gay guy gimmick. Of course, we have to have at least one of those in the deathmatch tournament. Like, we've never seen that before. Bulldozer Matt Tremont is a CZW guy, and he's actually one of the new deathmatch stars. Every once in a while, you get like a new guy who's just awesome. Tremont is one of those guys. You have Danny Havoc, you know, guys that just stand out to you. And Tremont's definitely one of those guys, and he brought it in this tournament. I thought he did a great job. The final bump, which I'll get to later, was just absolutely sick, and Tremont took it. So anyway, the wrestlers come out to do commentary. Sadly, the other guys are gone. I think this might be day 2. Tremont hits a razor's edge off the apron, throwing Fabulous through some barbed wire boards. Tremont puts some tables or some tubes on Fabulous and then hits a Vader bomb on him for the win. It was decent. Nathan's Sadistic Playground with Neil Diamond Cutter versus American Kickboxer. Excuse me, American Kickboxer 2. Neil Diamond Cutter kind of reminds me of Charlie from Lost a little bit, but I like this guy. I mean, I saw him in last year's King of the Death match. He's been in a few of them. And he's a really small guy, but I think he's pretty good in these matches. I mean, he's not bad. American Kickboxer 2, however, he pretty much sucks. And he's wearing this glacier mask for some reason. Kickboxer falls trying to do a springboard and just falls into Neil. Neil wins after smashing this field goal contraptions. Look like those little tube things you take in the swimming pools with light tubes in the middle. He smashes one over him and then hits a side suplex for the win. This is the first appearance of the deathbed. They have a empty bed frame with just barbed wire in the middle of it and tubes on top. And this is the first time we see it, but they didn't use it in this match. However, they do use it later. Neil Diamond Cutter advances. Sadly, even though I did like Neil Diamond Cutter, I thought American Kickboxer 2, I would have liked to have seen him advance so that someone just beat the shit out of him later. Because this guy is so green and so stiff, I just wanted to see someone kick his ass. He had no place being here, and he just really sucked all around. Then we get Bundles of Joy with Ron Matthys versus Devin Maximus. They also have this band who we see at this time justify these scars, and they play the entrance themes. I don't remember if they did at the beginning of the show or not. I don't think they were. And I did notice that there was a van that said Justify, and I had no idea what the hell it was, but apparently it was for this band. So they played the theme songs, and I guess they couldn't earlier because of the rain. But now, on day 2, they're playing the themes. Devin hits a DVD on the apron onto some tubes. Matthys convulses. I mean, you think Matt Morgan or Robbie E plays it up, even Hogan or Vince, when they do the whole seizure thing, like convulsing. This Matthys guy takes it to a whole new level. He also sells everything like he's drunk. Like those drunk people who just stumble around and can't stand up straight. He sells everything like that. The middle rope, they go for the final spot, which is Matthys hitting a tombstone onto some light tubes. And he's getting the guy up on the second turnbuckle, and the turnbuckle just breaks. The ring rope breaks. And surprisingly, he just lands. They didn't fall, they didn't botch. The ring broke, and they just continued with the spot. And I gotta give him credit for that. That was impressive. And then he hits a tombstone onto the tubes and gets the win, so Matthys advances. Josh Crow versus Shane Smalls in a non-tournament match. Josh Crow has a piece of glass or something stuck to his back the whole time. Crow wins after a razor's edge into the corner, followed by a sit-down pile driver, I believe. But this wasn't a bad match either. Then we start round 2. Fans bring the weapons. Matt Tremont versus Cody Krueger. A lot of bats in this match. Fork bats, thumbtacks, CDs, thorns. CDs. They take CDs and they put them on a wiffle ball bat, and barbed wire, or a board with balloons filled with salt, lemon juice, all types of crazy stuff in this match. Tremont makes him tap with a trailer hitch type submission move, and afterwards they headbutt each other and hug. Then we get the Sawtooth death match with Spider Boudreaux versus John Rare. They use razor blade boards, saw blade boards, soup can lids. I think it was on a bat or something. They bring in a ladder. Rare hits a bulldog on Boudreaux off the ladder through a table of push pins. Rare goes to set up a razor board on a table, but the legs break. Or it was a saw blade board. Boudreaux powerbombs Rare through it. He kicks out. They fight in the crowd, and Rare hits a suplex on Spider off of a chair through a grill of lit coals. That was a pretty sick spot. Rare stabs Spider with an actual power saw. Now at first I was freaking out about this. A power saw. He touches to his arm. And you could hear it, and I was like, holy shit, that's crazy. But then during the replay, you can clearly see he touches his elbow pad. So it's not like they were actually using the power saw here, I don't think. But Spider hits a sick sidewalk slam on Rare onto the spines of 2 chairs. And then Boudreaux hits a Michinoku driver type move off the top of this insanely high ladder. This was a crazy spot here. It was through a saw blade table, I believe, for the win. Kind of like the fishhook match. Even though they used these crazy gimmicks like the razors and the saw blades, you didn't really see any damage from them. Both guys were wearing shirts, but still, you would see something if it's like razor blades. and you didn't really see anything happen. But Spider advances. Then we get Barefoot Pits of Hell with Freak Show versus Neil Diamond Cutter. They have these kiddie pools set up around the ring with pine cones, kid toys, and half aluminum cans. Like you take a can of Sprite or something and cut it in half and just stick that in there. So that was pretty sick gimmick. The announcers were building up the kids' toys like, hey, you ever walk around in your house at night and step on your kids' toys and it hurts like hell, Legos and stuff. So they were trying to play it up like that. But yeah, just breaking the tubes, the light tubes, it's going to put glass all over the ring. So Neil staples Freak Show's toes and then pulls out the staples. That was sick. He staples the bottom of his feet. Freak Show wins with a pile driver off the apron into a pull of everything. Just a combination to the outside. Freak Show gets the win, advances. Then we get Death from Below match with Payne versus Ron Matthys. The boards, Death from Below, they have the apron, a ladder, and like a box of stuff. A box of thumbtacks on this side, a box of pine cones on the other, and a box of carpet strips on the other side. And this was a okay match. Fans didn't seem to be into this one at all for some reason. I guess they were just starting to get burned out maybe. But Payne tosses Matthys off the top rope. He lands into the board of tacks, kind of. He doesn't like crash into it, he just hits his elbow in it. And Payne covers him, gets the win. Afterwards, Matthys is selling this like death. He's laying there, and who was he against? Payne. So Payne advances, and Matthys is laying there. He's holding his elbow. I don't know if he's trying to work people. I mean, I guess the medics are there, and it's like he's trying to work them. It didn't make any sense. He's like laying there holding this injury, and they're like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" He's like, "My arm." And they're like, "Is it broken?" He says, "I'm not a doctor." And then he just gets up. And I think he was just overselling, but it ended up to where it looked like he was actually working the medics, which is a stupid thing to do in a tournament like this, but yeah. So anyway, we get a Fans Bring the Weapons match, Madman Pondo versus Phil Machio, non-tournament. They use a fork on the end of a drill. I thought that was kind of cool. Pondo takes a bump and some Christmas ornaments. A barbed wire cat of nine tails with light bulbs on the end is used. I thought that was a really cool weapon. Pondo's girl, what was her name, Mary Dobson or something, she crotches Machio on the top rope, hits a Hurricane Rana on him. Machio super kicks her and suplexes her off the apron into the deathbed. She actually is the first person to take the deathbed bump. I was impressed by that. That's freaking crazy. So Pondo tosses Machio off the apron into the deathbed for the win. Then Pondo goes, he plugs his DVDs, he says, "You want to know why I hate this guy Smooth? I got some DVDs that'll tell you the whole story," or something. Then he plays a song with the band where he just says "fuck Smooth" the whole time. Fans Bring the Weapons Deathmatch Rumble, non-tournament. It's a over-the-top rope battle royal until the end, where Bryant Woods wins by pinfall. I didn't really understand this. It just had Bryant Woods and then some guys who I guess weren't good enough to make it into the Carnage Cup, if you can even believe that. I am surprised they had this many people willing to do this crazy stuff, but one guy was like a clown. It wasn't very good. But Bryant Woods won. Then we get the finals. No ropes, flaming barbed wire, 250 light tubes, Hellraiser match. Spider Boudreaux, Matt Tremont, Freak Show, and Payne. Tremont gets hit with this push pin chair. And push pins are different from thumbtacks. You know, everybody knows what thumbtacks are. Push pins, if you don't know, they have the little spike on the end and like the clear plastic that you use to put on like a bulletin board. And he gets hit with a chair full of these things, and they're just stuck in his back. It was gruesome. Awesome spot. The announcers are talking about how there are these little kids scavenging things underneath the ring, like saw blades and stuff. Just completely bizarre. There's nothing else like this. It's completely stands alone. But yes, Freak Show has a knife he's putting on Tremont's forehead. That was sick. Spider and Tremont climb to the top of, I guess, semi-truck way the hell up in the air. This thing was really high, and they take a bump. Spider picks Tremont up, holds him like he's going to do the Michinoku driver or something like that, and he looks like he's nervous. He's trying to get his positioning right. The only thing they're going to land on is like 4 tables with light tubes on top of them, and he looks like he's kind of hesitating, and then they just take the bump. And this was sick. I mean, this was... I would have to put this up there with Sicknick, Mondo, and Zandig's Tournament of Death 2 bump, because that shit was insane. So I got to give these guys credit. Tremont, Buro, you know these guys aren't getting paid crap for doing this, and they took a really sick bump out there. Say what you will about it. It's stupid, it's whatever, but I thought it was crazy, and it was entertaining as hell. I didn't know what was happening. They didn't really use the fire too much. Spider took a bump at one point through the barbed wire after the fire had burned down, so it was still hot. And I thought that was a cool spot. But they didn't really use the fire too much. They used a lot of light tubes. And Damian Payne and Freak Show were still in the ring while Tremont and Spider take this bump. Spider pins Tremont, and the ref counts 3. Nobody knows if it's elimination at this point. I'm wondering if he's going to make it back to the ring and beat the other 2. But that was it. It was a 1-fall thing, kind of like a triple threat match. Whoever gets the first pin, and he wins. So Spider Buro gets the trophy. He becomes the Carnage Cup champion 2012, and afterwards they induct Freak Show and Spider Buro into the Ultraviolent Hall of Fame, and they give him some plaques, and that was it. That was the Carnage Cup 8 2012. Overall, not a bad show. If you like deathmatch tournaments, I'm sure you will find some enjoyment in this. And I mean, there's some sick stuff in this one, definitely. But yeah, so overall, I gotta say, this wasn't a bad show. I've definitely seen worse, and I can easily say that. The bump at the very end was impressive. I know a lot of times these death matches want to have like at least one big spot, one big bump, and a lot of times it's really hard to keep upping that when you have like bumps like Mondo to follow and some of the Necro Butcher bumps, but this one's right up there with them. This was a sick bump. So yeah, guys, I know this video is probably long as hell because I had so much to talk about, but hope you guys liked the review. Leave your thoughts on this video in the comments below, and thanks for watching.